Hey, it's Heather, and I should warn you, I am not currently being supervised by Clark. So, any sounds you hear, any missed moments, any ums, any likes, well, they're all mine this time. Going a little bit rogue and just sneaking into your podcast app with a quick invitation for you to join me and other Mayhem daughters for a coaching call. Before I do that, though, I want to share a quick insight with you. On the podcast, I have shared breathing and grounding exercises for moments when you might feel overwhelmed while listening. Now, the reason I do this is because I know that listening to the show can be dysregulating and challenging. We talk about really hard things sometimes. I came across this quote recently, and I had originally seen it on an Instagram account named Healing Out Loud, but I'm not sure that the owner of that account is actually the original author of the post, because when I tried to chase the tail for authorship, I ended up finding it on several different people's accounts with no author credit given. But I want to share it with you. So here goes. A healer will trigger you. It's inevitable. That's their purpose, to trigger you into healing, to trigger your wounds to the surface, to trigger you to face your darkness, to trigger you into accepting, integrating, and loving your shadow, to trigger you to grow and evolve into your highest self. It doesn't mean they're bringing out the worst in you. On the contrary, they're bringing you closer to the best in you. Intention and energy matter. Now, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you might be surprised I'm sharing this because you know I hate the word trigger. I don't think people are triggered as much as they have reactions to things. And I think a lot of our reactions to things often make sense when we chase the tail back to our childhoods. Now, my TED Talk on the use of the word trigger aside, I do think a lot of you react to healers and to their work. You likely have reactions to things that I say and ways that I show up and challenge you to think and show up for yourselves. Now, honestly, I wish the author of this original post had used the word challenge instead of trigger, because I do think healers tend to challenge you. I know this, I believe it, and I accept it. So why am I sharing this? Because I think this rings true, but also because I'm inviting you to join me on a coaching call to maybe experience more connection with me and more healing. And I can't pretend that I don't know that an invitation like that can also be a trigger or something that you might react to or something that might challenge you. In extending this invitation to join me and other daughters on a live call, I am challenging you to show up for yourself. And just by showing up, you would be acknowledging your truth, that you are the daughter of a narcissistic or emotionally limited mother. It's an invitation to accept more help with this, and for many of you, it will be a challenge to ask for it. It's an invitation to be less alone and less isolated in your healing, and to enjoy the company of others on the path. We are hardwired, friends, for connection. Brene Brown tells us this all the time, but I know that for some of you, an invitation for further connection around this or any topic may be intimidating, and it could sound like a lot. I know, and you know, that this isn't just an invitation to talk for 2 hours in exchange for $25. I know that this is a bigger ask, and yet I'm asking you, and I'm inviting you anyway, because as a listener of the show, you are showing up for yourself. And it is my core belief that anyone showing up for themselves deserves company on the path, if only for 2 hours. I do try to make these calls affordable for you, but I accept that the time of the call or perhaps its cost might make the call and the invitation inaccessible for you. And I understand and accept that. This will be the third call I'm hosting, and here's something you should know. None of the previous calls have sold out. Some listeners are good, and I know this, they don't need the call. They have their own therapist, they have their own supports. For others, the scheduled cost or the time gets in the way, makes it out of reach. For others, though, I imagine some of you listening have heard my offer for these calls before, and you've assumed that they've quickly sold out or have filled up, and so you haven't even tried. Maybe you don't think you're worthy or deserving of one of the open slots. And again, this is where I'm challenging you. I imagine some of you might be nervous about the call and what would be asked of you. I know that something like this is new and can be a little bit intimidating. The truth is here, honestly, on Mayhem calls, you come as you are over Zoom. When signing up, you're invited to pre-submit questions and you're offered the opportunity for live coaching with me or to have your questions answered anonymously. Those of you who ask for live coaching on the call are prioritized. But here's the thing, you don't have to have a question to be on the call. Many people have signed up for the call just to listen in and connect with other women in the chat room. Each person who asks a question gets about 10 minutes or so with me, and any questions we don't get to, I record my answers to after the call ends. Clark, our trusty podcast editor and now video editor of these calls, then includes my answers at the end of the call replay, and that gets sent to everyone a few days after the call. Now, we've developed a little group of regulars, and currently for the March call, we have room for 25 more people. I capped the calls at 35 for a more personal approach. Should we sell out, I am more than open to adding a subsequent call time to meet the demand. So that's the deal. Keeping it short and sweet and to the point. And those of you who have listened to me go on for 60 minutes at times, you know this isn't always an easy feat for me. The call is going to be on March 6th from 10:30 in the morning to 12:30 in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. The cost for the call is $25 US, and you can find the link to sign up in the show notes for this episode or over in my bio on Instagram. You are a member of a community of women around the world who are in this with you. I am too, and perhaps we'll have an opportunity to meet in person. Bye for now.